Hello everyone, welcome to week number 3 of my online copy and card. This month we're featuring the Attention Shoppers stamp set, and for those of you that don't know, week number 3 is always my favourite card. Number 3 is my lucky number. When I say lucky, it's my favourite number. I was brought up in a family of 3 and I just like the number 3. So week number 3 is my favourite, and this I have used all the colours on this card. I think that this set is a really happy set of products. I love shopping, be it clothes shopping, food shopping, shopping for other people, shopping for the children, shopping for houseplants and flowers. I love shopping. So this was always going in my basket, and I was always going to do a class, and this just really makes me feel really happy, this card. I'm not a massive user of bright colours, and I'm really trying to step out of my comfort zone. And what I've noticed in the last week or so is I'm loving it. I'm loving using really bright colours. I don't know if it's the change of the weather or just I feel inspired by them, but I'm loving it. So here we're going to use all the colours on this card. We've got card base cut from Melon Mambo, and in your kit you will have your card base, you will have an additional layer of Melon Mambo, which is our top layer, you have a white layer, and that is for the inside of your card. I'll show you inside. You will have a die cut circle. This is from the Everyday Details set of dies. We had them in the mini catalogue back in January to April. They have carried over, but they're really tricky to find in the catalogue. I had to really search to see if they were available. And the easiest way that you can do that is just to put the name of the product in the search engine on the online store. So they are definitely still available. You have a shopping trolley, and this was a dilemma. What colour do I cut the shopping trolley from? And I went with black because I wanted to tie in the outline of the black stamped images with this. So black shopping trolley. It comes in 2 parts, wheels and basket. I've picked out just a scrap of white, although I'm going to need more than that because I need to stamp my images. So you're going to need a scrap of white card to stamp your images on and your sentiment. I've also got in your kit some of this. Now this is really old. I think it was from a pet suite many years ago, but I bought so many reels of it and I love it. So you've all got a bit of that in your kits. Other things that you're going to need your trusty Memento ink pad that we've been using in every one of our cards so far. I've gone with a blending brush and a Melon Mambo ink pad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of ink around the edge of that card, and I'll talk you through that. And then colours that I've got. So colours that I have Summer Splash, I have Melon Mambo, I have Granny Apple Green, and I have Daffodil Delight. And that's what we're going to stamp our images with. I've also got my stamps and I've got my dies, but if you don't have the dies, don't panic. You can buffer cut these. It isn't too much of a drama if you don't have them. So let's clear a little space and we will start crafting. We'll start putting this card together. I'll leave my card there so you can see roughly what we're doing. So not making a start, give your card a nice crease. We have this top layer here, and this top layer I'm going to add a little bit of detail to, like I mentioned. So I've just got a random piece of grid paper. Grid paper has 2 sides, right? So if the one side looks like this, it's fine. Just use the other side. I don't often change my grid paper, and I know I see a lot of demonstrators that start with clean grid paper, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, I find my grid paper almost just like my working space. It's like having a notepad by your side. So I tend to use it until it's really grotty, and you may think bad of me, but I also think a new sheet of grid paper for every video can be quite wasteful. So that's why I always start with my desk rather than grid paper. So what I'm doing is I'm just going around the edge, pressing down quite firmly to give the outside edge a little bit of a blur of colour. This is a great way to add sort of detail to your card. And I use this technique so much. I actually think blending brushes are probably one tool that I would struggle to not use. They're just always to hand. But I must admit, I do prefer this size to the mini ones. Okay, so that's my little blur. You can check if you're happy with it by just bringing in your card base. And we just want to be able to differentiate between those two layers. Okay. Sharpen the pad before I put my hand in it. And then I'm going to stick this piece to my card base. But I'm going to raise it. I'm going to raise it. So these are foam adhesive sheets. They come in probably a 4" by 4" size, if not ever so slightly bigger. And these are great if you've got something large that you want to raise. Now, I'm not going to use that whole sheet, but I am going to use a fair size. Add that to the back. It just saves you using lots and lots of different dimensionals. And I'm quite taken with them, actually. So there is my layer on my card. Okay, take my grid paper away. And whilst I'm here, I'm going to just do my little black line around the edge of my card for the inside. So I'm just using little straight lines or hand-drawn straight lines. They're definitely a bit wibbly. But hey, you can tell it's a handmade card that way, can't you? And this is going to get stuck inside. Now the next step on your die cut, the next step is to get out all of those stubborn little dots. I'm just using my pick tool. This does leave some really fun confetti. I once had to die cut over 100 of these for a class, and you should have seen my craft floor after that. It was like it had snowed. Okay, so this I can stick down, and I'm going to stick that down with some pads as well. There's quite a lot of depth to this card. I would say this is definitely a card you want to hand deliver to someone rather than to post. And this is going just towards the top, probably about 2 centimetres from the top. There we go. So that is my card base all prepped and ready to decorate. So I can put that to one side and we can work on our decoration. So this is my scrap piece and I am going to stamp everything that I need. Thank goodness for lots of different blocks. I think I need to re-ink my memento. If you didn't know, you can purchase re-inkers in the Stampin' Up store for memento pads as well. The reason I say that is because I didn't realise that for a while. Okay, so there are my images all stamped. Now, this sentiment here, if you want to fussy cut it, like I've done, I'm just stamp it on here. If not, cut yourself out a die, a label shape, and stamp it onto that. But I am going to stamp mine now. Okay, so that's your stamping all done. Okay, and I can go in with my colour now. So I always like to start with my light colour first. Bring that up here so you can see it in a bit more detail. So I'm going to start with my Daffodil Delight, and I'm always starting with the light shade, and I'm starting with the what I would call a felt tip shaped nib. I'm colouring the lid of the bottle, and that's it with Daffodil Delight. I'm going to move to Summer Splash next, and Summer Splash is going to be the handle of the bag. It's the stripe on the flower pot. Oh, I haven't used the cake. You don't need the cake. And it's the wrapping of the flowers. I think because in reality you'd buy a cake in a box, wouldn't you? You wouldn't put the cake in the shopping trolley like that. Imagine the mess of it by the time you've gone over the bumps in the car park. So that's my flowers. Oh, it's also the bottle. So I'm just using the light shade to start us off. And then the pink. So the pink is going to be the wrap on the bottle, the flowers, and the plant pot, and the gift bag. And then the last thing I've got is my plant. Okay, so once I've got my base layer of colour, this is where I'm going to go in and add some detail with the dark shades. And now I'm going to use the fine tip end and I'm going to outline my images. And this adds just a bit of extra detail. And I think it just makes your image sort of pop. There's my yellow, the blue. Got a little fly in here stuck in my light. You can hear him sort of flying around and bumping into it. Okay, the green for the leaves. And then the pink in the bag. Now with the pink, for the flowers, I'm going to do like a little line into each petal. Oh, I think it's out now. I have to turn my paper. It's a bit like when I'm fussy cutting. I turn the card. I don't turn my scissors. And the same when I colour. Okay, so there are my images all coloured in. I'm really pleased with those. I love the contrast of the colours together. I think they work really, really nicely. I'm just going to trim these out into smaller pieces. I want to use my mini cut and emboss machine to cut these out. You can definitely fussy cut them if you want to. It's easier. I'm going to use my little thing. Let's see if we can get two at a time. If you want to, you can use some washi tape or some masking tape to just keep your dies in place. I'm going to be brave and just go for it. Not bad, not bad. So we've got a gift bag, we've got our flowers. And then on here, we've got a bottle and a plant. Not bad, not bad. And then, move this out of the way. I need to fussy cut my sentiment. So let's do that now as well. So when fussy cutting my sentiment, I'm going to go around the edge and I'm just going to follow the outline of the words sort of quite closely. But I think if you try and make it too neat, you can run into some problems. So you can see I'm turning the card. It helps because my arm is on the desk. If my arms are up, I do want to move my arm, but my arms are on the desk, so I can't really move it. I just find cutting in this way just gives me a bit more control. Okay, so I have my sentiment, I have my 4 pieces, and now we can put the cards together. So bringing the card in, put that on there. I'm also going to use my silicone mat. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, I haven't done that actually. I don't need my silicone mat, I'm lying to you all. I'm going to put my wheels down, okay? I'm just going to add a few little dots of wet glue and stick that down. I'm going to stick it down so that the wheels just come off the bottom of my circle, okay? And then what am I going to do next? I forget what I'm going to do. Right, I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put a little pad on the back of these. You forget that I've made these cards sort of a really long time ago. I'm going to use black dimensionals because I quite like using black dimensionals. I'm just going to put me 1-dimensional little ones, tiny ones here. Okay. So with my trolley in place, but not stuck down, I'm going to slide these in behind it. So hold on to your trolley. Slide these in behind it. So that we know exactly where they're going to go. And my little plant goes in the middle. Right, I'm just going to take this one off. I'm going to take that off that pad, actually. I'm just going to put a little bit of wet glue here. Stick that on there. Okay. So now I've done that, I'm going to take my trolley and I'm going to stick it down. So the trolley is actually not stuck to the wheels at all. The trolley is actually going to be stuck to what's in it. And you just want to press on that for a few seconds to make sure it's definitely stuck. Okay. So once you've done that, nicely, you're going to take your ribbon and did I tie it? I think I did. No, I didn't. It's a glue. You're going to take your ribbon and tie yourself a nice bow. And then add your bow to a glue dot. There you are. And then the last thing we need to do is put the sentiment on. For the sentiment, I'm going to put myself a couple of little pads over here. And then stick that to there. And there we have it. That is week number 3, all done. I hope you love it as much as I do. And we have just 1 week left to go, week number 4, and you will be able to see that same time, same place next week. I look forward to seeing you all then. Bye for now, everybody.